Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for this week. These are the horoscopes for the week ending October 15th, 2016. We're already halfway through October, people. If you can believe that, it's just flying by like crazy. But we got a lot of stuff going on this week, and we're going to go ahead and get right to the juicy stuff. And we're going to start, as we always do, with Aries. Now, Uranus is moving into a very difficult T-squared position with Mercury and Jupiter and the Sun. Pluto and Mars are also a part of this T-square. And at the beginning of the week, when the moon is conjunct with Pluto, and at the end of the week, when the moon moves into your sign and becomes conjunct with Uranus, the moon is also going to be a part of this T-square as well. So this is a very heavy aspect. And with so many planets being involved in it, it really seems at its heaviest. Now, for this week, this particular aspect is going to make you feel like you've got all these dreams, you've got all these plans, you've got all these things that you want to do and things that you want to accomplish, but something is keeping you anchored and grounded in one spot, and you can't seem to move out of this anchor, and that's really, really frustrating. At the same time, though, Uranus is trined with Saturn, which a trine is always usually a good thing, but at the same time, this trine is really trying to remind you of the importance of really digging deep down into this situation for yourself. Why is it that you're grounded? And it could be a lot of different reasons why you are grounded in an unhealthy way. It could be health reasons. It could be, money reasons. A lot of different things could be causing this. But what you need to dig down deep in there to find is your own fear of what's to come afterwards. What is it that you're afraid of when it comes to your own success? And understand where that seems to be fueling the illness, fueling the money problem, fueling a lot of the reasons why you feel so anchored and grounded right now. Now, the good news is that this is only a temporary situation. Even though this T-square is probably going to last a little bit, I'd say about a month or so, with Jupiter being part of it. At the same time, it's there for a reason, and it's there to help you grow, and it's there to help you, remind you that overcoming challenges is what Aries are best at. So this week, put on your bravest face. Try really hard to avoid being frustrated over the situation. I know it's going to be difficult to avoid being frustrated over the situation. But you've got to do everything that you can to change the outcome of this situation. Because this time, once you release from that anchor, you're not going to be anchored again. So you guys, have a great week with that. Taurus, the part of fortune is going to come into your sign this week, towards about the middle of the week, bringing you luck, a lot of luck when it comes to providing you some energy to get your home in order. And we're not just talking about the space itself and the things in it, but we're also talking about the people in that home as well. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that you get to put on your dictator hat and dictate to everybody how you want things to be so that everything runs smoothly. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work like that, and people tend to get really angry with you when you do that. And so, of course, you want to avoid that at all costs. Actually, when we're talking about putting your house in order and the people that are in it, it's all about putting some of your relationships into order. Now, the stickiness of these relationships needs to be put into order, because if you don't, it's going to remain sticky and get stickier and stickier as it goes. Putting these relationships into order really isn't going to happen unless you can take a look inside your own personal mirror. Look at your own reflection, and understanding your role in the dynamics of these relationships is key to being able to bring order into that house. Because the more you work with those around you, the more those around you are going to work with you. So this week is a great time for a big, giant house cleaning. Letting go of all the negativity and bringing in only positivity to make your home the best place on earth. So you guys have a great week with that. Gemini. A busy Gemini is a happy Gemini, and this week is a perfect opportunity to be as busy as possible. This is all about your day-to-day, whatever it is that you're doing for you guys this week. And when the part of fortune comes into your sign towards the end of the week, you're also going to find or feel like there's this magical energy that's projecting you from one thing to another, checking things off your list and getting things accomplished as easy peasy as possible, which is an awesome thing, really. I mean, how many opportunities do we really have to accomplish so many things and feel like we don't have to overcome so many obstacles in order to do it? Well, this week is prime for that, and this is an energy that you guys really need right now when we've been going through some difficulties with mutable grand crosses of the past few months and things like that. So this week, it's a prime chance to really tap into that energy and get as much done as possible. But of course, a warning in there. A lack of food and a lack of sleep are no way to succeed. And of course, you want to tear yourself away from what you're doing every now and then to make sure that you have proper food, not something you're shoving in your mouth while you're trying to do it. That's not proper food. And of course, a proper amount of rest. Keep yourself healthy and keep yourself up to par, and you will succeed beyond your wildest dreams. So you guys have a great week with that. Cancer, a busy, busy, busy lifestyle is very fulfilling to all Cancers. It's very fulfilling to a lot of people, actually. But even the most fulfilled person needs a rest every now and then, and that is what this week is all about for you guys. Take ample opportunities this week to literally clock out of everything. That means shutting your brain down. That means giving yourself a chance to rest, relax, do something to pamper yourself, do something fun for yourself. Because the truth is, life doesn't always give you too many opportunities to really take some time to rest. And if you don't take the time now, you're probably going to wish you had next week when you're busy again. So this week, take ample opportunities to take care of you. It'll get you all prepared for what you're going to be focusing on next week. So you guys have a great week with that. Leo, this week kicks off the next several weeks focused mainly on money. Now, money is something that none of us can get away from, no matter what we feel about money, or how we feel about money, or our own personal opinions about money, good or bad. It is something that is very much a part of our lives, and there is very few people in this world that can get away with not having to deal with money at all. Well, this week is one of those weeks where of course you're going to be focused on money. As always, you're focused on money. And of course you Leos, especially, Leos, because Leos are very family driven and really crave security. Money is a big deal. If you don't have money in the bank, you don't feel like you're doing your job. So you'll kill yourself working to make sure that you have money in the bank. And of course that's no life at all. This week it's time for you to really take a look at your relationship with money and really understand just how much you need money to survive in this world. Take one day out of this week and journal how many times the thought of money comes into your life. Whether it's a blouse that you want to order or something, or groceries that you need to get, whatever it is, from the smallest thing to the littlest thing, how many times a day do you really think about how much money you need for something? And then give yourself a day off from money. And I mean a full day off from money. And doing this means that from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to bed, you do not think about money. You do not think about the bills that you need to pay, because of course you can always pay those tomorrow. You don't think about buying anything or doing anything for entertainment purposes that involves money. You simply live your life without money. Now, the more you do this and the more days you give yourself to do this, the better your life is going to be, because soon you will realize that money is not quite as important as most of us think it is. So you guys have a great week with that. Virgo, making plans is definitely a Virgo's most favorite thing in the world to do. And this week it's really all about making plans. Specifically making plans about your future. Where are you going to go from here? And it's always a good idea to take stock and take an inventory of where you're at and where you plan to go from here, so that you make sure that you get pretty much where it is that you want to go. Well, this week is a great opportunity to do that. I must say, though, too much attention to detail is, of course, the Virgo curse. Too much attention to detail means trying to perfect something or trying to make sure the plan is airtight and solid before you proceed. It's a waste of time, and knowing how the universe works and how the world works, you of course want to be open to things changing. So the plan not exactly going the way you think it does, because of course that has its own issues there as well. The truth is your heart is what's going to guide you, and this week it's really important to listen to your heart. Your heart knows which direction it wants to go in. Your heart is, of course, the voice of your soul, and it knows better than we think we know just how important it is to go in one direction or the other. And even when you're torn in two different directions, the heart is a very valuable tool because it can tell you how to either work through being torn in those two different directions or really help you to understand which direction is the best way to go for you. So this week, make those plans. Make sure that they're great plans, and of course, let your heart do the guiding this time. Trust me on this. It is a good idea, I swear. You guys have a great week with that. Libra, Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun in your sign move into T-squared position with Pluto, Mars, and Uranus. And the Moon joins this aspect at the beginning of the week in Capricorn and then at the end of the week in Aries, making it a very difficult aspect for everybody. Now, unfortunately, I don't have better news to report about it other than it is going to make you feel like you can't move forward in your plans. You have a lot of plans, you have a lot of things that you want to do, but it feels like it's not going anywhere, and that's very frustrating. Nobody ever doesn't get frustrated in a situation like that. But the truth is, there's a couple of things. First of all, it always gets darkest before it gets light. And a lot of times these delays are just kind of sort of the universe letting you know that they're trying to make it ready for you in the best way possible before you just rush in to this plan. And of course the other thing that's going on here is a lesson in acceptance. Oftentimes acceptance is the most difficult lesson, even more difficult than being patient about something. Because accepting the situation means that you accept it for exactly the way that it is. Now that of course doesn't mean that you have to stay there either. So work on that acceptance and that patience just a little bit, because I swear to you that things are going to turn around just as soon as they are ready to turn around. And in the meantime, don't let your frustration, of course, drive the vehicle that you're driving right now, because the truth is, if things are just waiting to happen, you don't want to screw it up by blowing your lid. So you guys have a great week with that. Scorpio, Venus spends her last full week in your sign this week, shining some love on your sign, of course, and bringing you mass amounts of loving support in the process. Now, we've been talking about this support for the last couple of weeks, and if you've been feeling like you don't really have the support that you think that you should have, the only thing you need to do, of course, is to go and take a look in the mirror. That reflection, that person standing right there in front of you, is the most support you need in this life. It's always nice to have other people there to support us and to help us out and to give us high fives when we do a good job, but really it comes down to us. And if we don't support ourselves, we won't find the support that we're craving from other people. The truth is that the Scorpion doesn't need a crowd when he sheds off his outer shell and grows a new one. He does this completely and totally on his own. He doesn't have anybody there with him to do it. And this is what it's all about. It's about you shedding off that old shell, because the new shell, this beautiful, more powerful shell, is exactly the type of shell that you're going to need in order to take the next step. So this week, allow yourself the time and allow yourself to support yourself. Say loving things to yourself. Really start to tell yourself just what you're capable of doing in a very positive way. I guarantee it's going to be uncomfortable at first, but the more you do it, the easier it's going to get and the more believable it will be. So you guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius, well, Saturn square with Neptune continues, an aspect that has you feeling like the same old stuff from the past keeps on coming back up to rear its ugly head and bother you again. Saturn's sextiles with Jupiter and Mercury are giving you a very clear avenue and a very clear direction to focus that old frustrated energy at in your goals. Now, when it comes to growth, of course, you've got to tackle those things that you need to overcome. And if the same situation keeps coming up from the past, you have not dealt with it like you thought you have. I mean, you say, I've heard a lot of people and a lot of clients I have tell me, I've already dealt with this situation. I don't see why I have to deal with it again. If you've already dealt with the situation wouldn't be coming up quite so often, and it wouldn't be frustrating you quite so much either. The truth is, when we really fully understand, embrace, and let go of these situations, when they do come up every once in a while to test us, we simply don't give it the same amount of emotion and energy. We brush it off. So the truth is, these things are coming up for a reason, and this time it's coming up for in order for you to tackle it for good this time and move on. Because the truth is, if you do this, the rewards are going to be amazing. So this week, it's time for you to be brave, and it's time for you to do something that you've never done before. Even if that means that you have to give in to something you didn't think you were going to have to give in to. The truth is, that's what it takes sometimes to really fully understand the lesson. So you guys, have a great week with that. Capricorn, as Mars and Pluto move into conjunction with each other, they move into T-square with the Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, and Uranus. And the Moon also moves into conjunction with Pluto and Mars at the beginning of the week, and then moves into conjunction with Uranus, making it a part of this T-square twice in 1 week, which is kind of a bit of a pain in the rear if you look at it the way that it is. Now, of course, this aspect is really having you feeling like you're torn between everything that you want to do, everything that you want to accomplish, all of your dreams, all of your hopes, all of that stuff, and responsibilities. And these responsibilities could be your own responsibilities, could be responsibilities that people are giving you that are not necessarily your responsibilities. How do you tell the difference? That's up to you to find out. But this week, that frustration is going to be big because, of course, you want to accomplish everything that you can. And you don't want to be torn in between these two things. You want to be able to handle everything because that is the Capricorn way, is it not? We can handle anything. And the truth is, that's not true for anybody, even Capricorns, I'm afraid. So this week, try not to let it get you quite so frustrated. There's no reason to get frustrated. And this week is really a lesson about control when you think about it. Because if you remember, the more things you try and make fit into a space, of course it's going to fight back and it's not going to fit. The universe is trying to teach you a bit of a lesson here. Stepping back and allowing things to fall into place the way that they're supposed to fall into place works a heck of a lot better for everybody than it does trying to force it to be what maybe it isn't. So this week, give the universe an opportunity to move some pieces around. Maybe those pieces you haven't quite figured out that they're not going to fit right yet. The universe comes in and moves it just a little bit so that everything runs smoothly and perfect again. And now it's Team Capricorn and Universe that are actually driving this bus. So you guys have a great week with that. Aquarius, the moon comes into your sign Monday through Wednesday, lining up with Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury in beautiful ways. Now, of course, these are very helpful aspects as, of course, she moves into trines and sextiles with these planets, making a big focus on your goals and how you've treated your goals in the past. Now, when these past situations come up, most human beings have a tendency to look at it and feel how they felt at the time. And then they allow that feeling to govern what they're going to do about the situation from here on out. If, of course, your feeling is that you failed, then that fear of failure is going to fuel what you're going to do next. Well, this week it's time to do things a little bit different. We're going to do them Aquarian style here. What are we talking about feelings for anyway as Aquarians? The truth is, we can't focus on how we felt about the situation because those past experiences are very powerful learning tools. And there are things that did work, kind of sort of mingled in there with things that didn't, and of course caused that feeling. So this week, take an opportunity to look at those past situations that are coming up for you this week and understand just what did work. And take what did work and run with it now. And what didn't work, leave it behind in the past, because you know now that it didn't work. Doing this is like killing two birds with one stone. It gives you more power to do what it is that you've set out to do now, and it also helps you eliminate a really irritating past experience that's been getting on your nerves or causing you frustration lately. And that's always a good thing, because nobody likes to be frustrated. So you guys have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces, as the moon moves into conjunction with Neptune at the end of the week, she joins both of Neptune's aspects. First of all, of course, Neptune square with Saturn, which is an aspect that has you feeling like you're dealing with the same old situation over and over and over again. So you ever get tired of dealing with this situation? It keeps popping up all the time, and it's really annoying. But the good news is that Neptune's sextile with Pluto and Mars is a great, absolutely wonderful aspect, because this aspect reminds you of who you are. Reminds you that, yes, those past situations were frustrating, but at the same time, they weren't just frustrating. They were an energy that propelled you forward into going deeper and doing more with your plans and more with your goals and accomplishing more. And of course, with Pluto being part of this aspect, change is possible always, and transformation is a necessity. Now, as these aspects come together and kind of sort of work together, the positive aspect is really a fuel to help you overcome this negative aspect. And rather than feeling the same feelings over the same old situation over and over again, it helps you to look at the situation in a different way and take something else from it. Rather than letting the feeling rule your entire life, instead, you're looking past the feelings at what the situation really is and what can you take from that situation. By doing this, you give yourself a lot of power, a lot more power than you think you have, or a lot more power than you think you can have, really. And it also really provides for you an absolute necessary feeling of empowerment, and that feeling of empowerment is going to fuel you into doing a lot more things that you've been wanting to do. You just haven't had the guts to do it yet. So you guys have a very powerful and productive week. Thanks so much for watching the horoscopes this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Don't forget the 13-card tarot prediction for 2017 is available. And of course, you want to get it before December 31st because it is expired on December 31st. But you have until then. That's a couple of months. So hurry up and get those orders in before it's too late. Again, I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching the horoscopes this week. And I hope you all have a kick-ass week. I will see y'all next week.